So I wanted to come and give a little bit of an introduction about the house and talk a little bit about its history and kind of a little bit about our project and what we're going to be doing here. So before I give you a grand tour of all of the floor plan and all of that. So I am standing here in our dining room in front of this amazing mural, which I will show you all in 360 degrees when we walk back through. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the house. So the house was built in 1900 by a man named Charles Albrecht. He went by Chaz. I often refer to him as Chaz. I'll be like, oh, Chaz did this and Chaz was responsible for that and all the things. So Chaz was the man that built it. And they had quite an interesting family history in the house. And I'll probably use like a whole video about their family and kind of that history and all of that. But ultimately they owned the house for around 60 years. And his son and then his grandson took over this house from all the records that I could find. And then the house was sold to someone else. And at one point it was actually donated to the VA, and the VA sold it to someone. And the last 15 years or so, it's had two owners that have not been very good stewards of it. So there's a lot of things that are just not okay, like random vents. There's electricity with screws literally through the wires. There are just weird wonky things that were put into place. There's four meters for four electric meters outside that need to be transferred back to single family. I think they were trying to make it a multi-family at one point, but didn't get very far. So you'll see they blocked up one of the walls to the stairs and things like that. So the last person that had the house had so many code violations that they actually put a warrant out for their arrest and took them to court, and they ended up losing the house, which is how the land bank ended up getting it, and subsequently us. So the land bank has had it for 2 years. My guess is that it's been vacant for about 5 or 6. I can't even honestly imagine someone living in this even 6 or 7 years ago, just because the electricity's a wreck. It's not, there's, outlets hanging out of the walls, things like that. So our project will be, essentially we have to do 100% of the HVAC, 100% of the new electricity, plumbing, the bathrooms. There basically are no bathrooms. There is no kitchen in this house. Everything has been torn out. And unfortunately that meant that they took like really nice things, like all of the expensive hardware on the doors. So I'm going to be tracking that stuff down, which is going to be a great time. Fortunately, we live in a historic city with lots of old houses, and there are some great restores and different places that you can find a lot of that type of hardware. So I'll be on a hunt for a lot of door hardware in the near future. And other random things. I mean, they did take all the radiators out of the house, which honestly is probably a bonus because nobody wants to lug those things around. But also there is like the fireplace in the front was completely taken out and rebuilt with some weird brick thing that is definitely not original to the house, where all of the other fireplaces in this house are original, and you can still see most of the tiles in fairly good shape. But nonetheless, they have done a pretty good disservice to the house, so we are going to put her back together. We really had a lot of conversation in the beginning about what we wanted this house to look like and be. And at the end of the day, you don't buy a giant Victorian house and then make it an open concept. This house, for us, feels like it needs to come back and be brought back to life the way that it was originally. So we are doing a lot of different colors and dimensions and textures in it. I want it to have a lot of different feeling, but yet be cozy and warm and welcoming. The first moment that I walked into this house, I felt like I had this weird soul connection to it, and that it had this amazing welcoming feeling, and that it just wanted a big hug. And so that is my mantra, is that we're just gonna kind of give this house a big hug, put her back together again. Everything as far as we can do, aside from obviously bathrooms and the kitchen will be updated and modern, but everything else in this house is going to be more true to its original style. So that's the goal that we have in mind. We are adding an attached garage, we're adding a 4-season room, and the main reason for that is just practicality. Because it is an old Victorian house, all of the rooms are separate. And so really needing kind of a space for people to be able to gather that connects to the kitchen and flows well. So that's the reason for adding that 4-season room. No, we don't need more square footage, but we need practical space. So we'll be doing that along the process. I think that covers most of it. I'm going to go ahead and walk you guys through it. We'll do a tour of the outside, and then I broke down the videos by first, second, and third floor, just to give you guys a little bit if you don't want to sit and watch a 15-minute video all at the same time. Our demo starts this week, which I am so excited about. So the first step we are doing is we're going to demo all of the ceilings in this house. So our architect and our engineers can see what the structure and what we need to do. Also, the house is a balloon frame, which basically means that hopefully we'll be able to drop all of our wires from the top floor to the bottom floor without having to rip out all of the walls, which is going to save us a lot of time and a lot of money without having to replace all of these walls. So we're fingers crossed for that. The roof should also be done in the next few weeks, and then windows will be ordered soon. Hopefully this week we can get those windows ordered. They are, supply chain issues are real. So 6 to 8 weeks out for those guys. And then the main goal is to have this thing wrapped up for winter. Hopefully we can get some of the additions done before the end of the year, which may or may not be an ambitious goal, we'll see. I had my first visit with the code inspector. He was fantastic, super helpful, loved our project. I'm really excited to work with him. I can't really say enough positive things, honestly, at this point about the city of Cincinnati and the building department. They've all been incredibly helpful. They answer my 1 million phone calls and questions, and they're really, I feel like they're to help me. So that's been really great. Just knowing that I've got an inspector that's going to be great, and he's not coming in here to tear it apart or looking for all the things that we're doing wrong, but rather how he can help us. So super excited to have a good inspector on our side, and bring this thing back to life. So let's get started. I will start a new video we'll do the outside first, and then we'll go through the house. Or I guess you can watch the videos in any order you want to, but I'll see you guys soon.